for tuning in to the Beyond Normal podcast, where we highlight minority business owners and founders, and we use this platform to shed light on their entrepreneur journey. Welcome everybody to a special episode for the Beyond Normal podcast. Can't believe we're 10 episodes in. This has been an incredible season. We're closing out with a very special guest. But before we get into that, I just wanted a special shout out to our partners who helped put this season on. Valorant, as you guys, as the audiences knows, the listeners have known Valorant and Brooke. They've been there right by our sides the entire time. Appreciate them, partnering with us for this season, curating this list of incredible founders. For our guest today, we have someone who is doing some incredible things when it comes to making it easy to find those Black-owned businesses in your community and online, right? There's so much focus right now on making sure that we're supporting the businesses in our communities. And I think the platform that we're about to highlight right now is really at the forefront of doing some of those amazing things and making it truly easier for folks to, find Black-owned products, right? That's the name of the game right now. So I want to bring to the stage my guest, Khadijah Robinson. She is the founder of the Nile List, right? And this is a one-stop shop for Black-owned shopping online. Nile it's more than just a directory, right, or an aggregator. You know that there's some of those tools out there. This is really an online community for connecting you to the dope Black-owned companies across the internet. So let me go ahead and bring Khadijah to the stage right now. How's it going, Khadijah?
Hello. How are you?
Appreciate you coming on now. And when I was building out the podcast, the platform initially, me and Khadijah had some conversations, but as it was crazy that, as Khadijah was having conversations with me, she was also connecting with Brooke. And then, me and Brooke, when we were talking about this season, we're like, yeah, we got to redo it, right? We got some new and improved tools. We want to make sure that, we get the most out of this partnership that we have here. So we wanted to make sure we brought back Khadijah for her to really share her story the right way. And then tell everybody, what's going on, what's the update for the Nile List at this very moment. So I appreciate you again for coming on and kicking it with us on this Friday, Khadijah.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. And I love to talk. So
yes. We're going to get into it. But before we do, we got some folks who have already chimed in on the comments. Brooke, she can't wait for this conversation here. Valorant as well. Her company is coming in. Who runs the world? Black women. All about that love. That love hearing that. That's what this platform is about. And so we're gonna go ahead and hop right into things. So I want to pass it over to you, Khadijah. Can you tell folks just a little bit around your story? Tell folks a little bit about you leading up to you founding the Nile List.
Well, there's not much to it, really. I love Black people. So, that's how I got here. That's the very, very long story short. But I'm a proud HBCU grad. I went to Spelman and, Spelman women, woo woo. And then after that, I did a master's in London. And then I went to Harvard Law School. So I'm also an attorney. And I practice here in DC, where I currently am located. And I also run the Nile List. So started about 2 years ago, just working on the concept out of my own frustration with not being able to find Black brands when I really wanted to. And I started building out a Google spreadsheet that was just like my go-to list of brands that I shopped with online that I wanted to be able to quickly reference again. And then folks started asking me like, oh, can you tell me where I can find X, Y, and Z thing, or share the spreadsheet with me? And I was like, oh, okay, folks are interested in this. And everyone's like, yeah, I want to buy Black too, but I literally don't know where to shop. And so, we created Nile as a answer to that, a way to help people know where to shop.
All right, technical difficulties, guys, but I love how you dived into that, Khadijah, highlighting the pain point that you saw yourself, and it started from that moment. I want everybody to note that Khadijah said there isn't much to her story, but what she just gave us was amazing. HBCU grad, law degree, law school, and then like you're taking some time out of your career. You know, you're doing amazing things, but you're taking some time to really solve this pain point. You know, I hear people all the time saying, you know, I want to buy black, but like what you just said, I don't know where to go, right? And then it takes you getting in your car a lot of times, maybe driving around your neighborhood to see it. That's what a lot of people are doing right now, just exploring. So there's got to be an easier way. And you coming up with the Nile List, it's amazing that it just started out as a Google spreadsheet, and now you've got this company. So go ahead, Khadijah.
No, I was just gonna say this is the first time that I tackled something like this, where I was like, there's this big issue that a lot of people have, not just me. How can I solve it? And it's been really exciting to start from a how can I solve it and be where we are now.
So in terms of wearing this hat, right, it's your problem to own. Like you said, this is your first time really diving into something like this. Like what intrigued you about starting your own business? Like what made you know, like, all right, this is the moment where I need to do this?
I had a conversation with some friends that really just pushed me along. They were like, that's a really good idea to just like make it easy for people to find these brands. I'm sure folks would love that. And I really didn't even think of it at that point as starting a business. I thought I'm just going to be creating a website and people can use it if they want. It wasn't until much later that I realized, like, no, this is a business, and there is much, much, much more to it than just putting up a website. But that is when things like really got exciting, because then the possibilities really open up for what we can do and how we can help Black entrepreneurs, one, but also how we can help consumers connect with brands that they like really care about, and not feel like that they're just buying something because it's convenient and they need it, but also be like excited about the things that they're buying.
I love it. And you touched on something just now. Like you said, at the heart of it, initially, it was about the customer, but I think there's some opportunities for business owners, right, that may not necessarily have, like, you know, they may not have their digital strategy all the way built out, but talk a little bit about that. What are you seeing in terms of for the entrepreneurs? What are the benefits that they're seeing initially from partnering with you?
Well, there's always like the exposure. People will discover you on our site, but I really want it to be beyond that. We've been working to make sure that it is beyond that. So joining our community and then getting access to the partners and the relationships that we've leveraged. So for example, building a partnership with a bookkeeper to get the businesses that are in our network discounted access to her services, or a trademark attorney for people who want to trademark their brand, getting them access to those services. So just making sure that that people really can benefit from what the relationships that we've built and the knowledge that we've built, and scale their business in other ways outside of just, I am going to get more customers. Because as any business owner knows, getting more customers a lot of times actually is like not the least of your concerns as a business owner. But I think, oh, there you are.
I was giving you the stage, Khadijah. I was giving you the stage. I was giving you that pedestal. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still here. I'm just listening, soaking up the game. But I think it's amazing. You touched on that, the idea of getting new customers, right? But I think there's so much focus on, all right, let me get new people. But then there's the piece where it's like cultivating that relationship and then getting people to come back, right, and continuously shop with you. And I feel like that's where the bread and butter is, right? You want to look, you don't need 1 million customers, right? You may only need a few hundred customers that are really loyal to your brand. And it starts by them just trying that product out and really, connecting with it. And I think that's where the Nile List really has, I see that opportunity for the Nile List to really fill in the gap for them. Because once I find a brand that I like, a Black owned brand, I'm all about it, right? If it solves my pain point, there's no reason for me not to support it.
Yeah, and a lot of people feel that way. So it's really, I mean, and I know we've been to plenty of businesses, not just Black owned, but plenty of small businesses we've dealt with that will have a great product and you like them, but they have so many other issues that keep you from being a regular customer there, and that keep them from being able to scale and really be able to handle the new customers that they're acquiring, or be very purposeful about acquiring a lot more customers because they have all sorts of issues, and so we want to make sure that people have an easier time, particularly as, solopreneurs, which a lot of these small Black owned businesses are, of scaling and growing. And a lot of what we've built in terms of the back end sort of infrastructure is around that.
Appreciate that. And I just pulled something on the screen because I think next I want to dive into this concept. I love this idea of you doing these curated boxes. I actually just made my purchase, so I'll be receiving mine shortly. But I wanted you to dive a little bit into this concept, that this idea that you put together around giving people these samples of these businesses, in the form of this surprise and delight box.
Right. And so this is really, really exciting for me. And this week was tough, as I'm sure a lot of listeners know and have felt themselves. And one of the bright spots of my week has been like packing these boxes and sending them off, because I like, thinking that I'm sending somebody a fun surprise that they're going to get to check out once they get it. But we started with these boxes last year in December. We started shipping holiday boxes, and this edition is our spring box, and it's a self-care theme. So we launched these quarterly boxes that ship every 4 months, and there's a curated selection of Black-owned brands in each box around a theme. So the last box was holiday theme. This box is self-care. And we just work with somewhere between, like 5 and 8 Black-owned brands to stock the box with items that we think that our audiences will really like, and make it a way to, really discover new brands. It's a discovery tool. That's why we call it the Tastemakers box, because it is all about taste testing new Black-owned brands and finding ones that you really like that you will hopefully become loyal customers of in the future, and making it easy to do so. Again, we are all about ease. And a lot of times people might see a bunch of different brands on our site and be like, okay, I don't know, should I buy from this candle company or one of the other 70 Black-owned candle companies on here? And so we want to make it easy by introducing people to some of our favorites through the box. And I really love these because they're very giftable. So a lot of people actually buy them as gifts. And we also have really realized how much people want to incorporate Black-owned businesses more into their gifting. So we've started doing these as, like corporate gift boxes as well. And we also do customized gift boxes for events and things like that. And we've had a few people reach out to us about that. So just making it really easy to incorporate Black-owned brands in all of the different ways that we live, including sending gifts, including subscriptions. And this one has some really, really, really great products, including one of my favorites, which is a Black-owned vitamin brand. And I take their vitamins. Like I'm usually terrible about remembering to take my vitamins. And I don't like swallowing pills, but they make vitamin gummies. And I promise you, it is like improved my compliance with taking my vitamins, like at least 100%. I actually take my vitamins every day now. So I love introducing people to things like that, because they're like, oh, like vitamins from a Black-owned brand. I never even thought about that, but that's why we're here.
I love that, Khadijah. Appreciate you breaking that down. I think this is an amazing opportunity for people to get like, a sample of a bunch of Black-owned businesses and then pick and choose. You brought up the idea around gifting. Gifting hasn't stopped even in a pandemic. It's probably picked up. So this is I think this is the perfect way to go for businesses looking to give people a sample of their business before, again, they become that customer that's hooked to their product. I love that there. All right, so I want to dive into in terms of the products that are currently on the Nile list. Like what are some of the top brands or products that people are going to the Nile list to look up at this very moment?
We have one that has been very popular on our site since forever. That is Mike D's Barbecue. People love discovering Mike D's Barbecue. So it's a Black-owned barbecue rub and sauce line that is based in North Carolina. And the lovely, amazing couple that owns it, they've been featured on a Discovery Channel show. They just opened last year a general store. So they have now a physical location in Durham, North Carolina, and they make amazing rubs and sauces. Like, so many members of my family order this thing like it is nobody's business. And my mom actually, I feel like she has some kind of subscription because she restocks like every 2 weeks. I don't know how she uses so much barbecue sauce in 2 weeks, but she loves it. So people really, really like Mike D's. People really like a candle brand on our platform, Southern Hospitality. They have Southern Hospitality. They make not candles, but they make like foot scrubs. They make different body care products. So they have great products. Southern Elegance is the candle company that people really love, and they have great scents. I have one of their candles back here. It is a snowflakes and sugar plum scent. So that one is good for the holiday time. And people surprisingly look up things like batteries a lot. They're always looking for like household goods like that. So we do have the battery brands on Nile's site. People come looking for paper towels and all kinds of things like that. And you can find all of that on our site.
I love it. And I appreciate the shout out to North Carolina. I think the Mike D Barbecue, I actually think they're in Durham. So they're representing the Bull City. Bull City, actually, they have really great barbecue. It's debatable who has the best barbecue, but based off what Khadijah's saying, in North Carolina, we may be at the top. I'm not sure. Let us know in the comments. Let us know what you guys think.
I'm not trying to get in a fight on the podcast, so I'll have no opinion.
Yeah, that barbecue topic can get kind of heated about who has the best barbecue in the country. So that's good though. I appreciate you just giving people that full spectrum. It's like you mentioned batteries. You mentioned people are looking up foot scrubs, things like that. Like it's the whole gambit, right? I can even shout out to one of somebody who we actually had on at the beginning of the season, Black Travel Box. I think they're up there as well. So this is really something that's going to continue to grow, and for those businesses out there, this is a really good opportunity for them to get their products in front of some different people outside of just whatever's in their neck of the woods. So Khadijah, we're going to pivot a little bit and talk about the experience of running a business, right? Like the exciting part of the job, right? No day is the same, right? No, every day is different. But what's something that you learned throughout this process of being a CEO, being a founder of a company that you wish you could have known at the beginning of the process? You could hop in a time machine, tell yourself this one thing to set yourself up for more success or put the business in a better position.
Ooh, I was talking about this recently because I have a friend who left my law firm and he went to become in-house counsel. And, I was just reflecting on how I feel like my lawyer brain is what holds me back the most as an entrepreneur. you're so risk averse as an attorney, and you want to be very methodical and list out every possible thing. Dot your I's, cross all your T's, know every single potential aspect of what could go wrong or what can happen when you're making decisions. As an entrepreneur, you literally just have to do it. You take so many risks, you make so many like rash decisions because you have to, but you don't have time to think methodically through everything. You can't possibly. And so just gotta like make it work, make some snap decisions, and be good at it. If you're not good at it, you will not make it in this business life. And it was very, very hard for me to train, or I guess to shake the habit of wanting to like thoroughly deliberate every single thing, and you know, and just map out every possible thing that could go wrong. And I think now 2 years in, I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Let's just do it and try and see what happens. And I would have never done that 2 years ago. I would have been like, let's make a whole list of pros and cons and research every potential anything. So that has been very interesting just to watch myself change. But it's been exciting. Like, I think you realize once you do a lot of things, once you just like make these decisions and you make things happen and you try stuff out and you see if it works, when things work, you're like, wow, like I did that. Like I made something crazy happen. And it worked. Whoa, okay, cool.
So I appreciate you sharing that, and it's amazing to hear, like, I guess that transition from corporate America, some of those skills that they kind of teach us, like you mentioned, being risk averse in your field. It's just something that comes with the territory, but then you got to embrace this test and learn, right? You just, all right, let me do it. Like you said, oh, and there's some learnings from it. Oh, we're going to make money from it. Wow. Like there's some incredible, it's a different skill set, different muscle that we may not necessarily utilize a lot in our corporate life. But on the flip side of that, I guess what are some of the skills, or what are some of the strengths that you've leveraged from your previous experience in the legal space, just corporate America in general, that you feel like set you up for success?
Oh, I think contracts for sure. And it's not like I wrote a whole bunch of contracts. I'm a litigator, so I didn't do a lot of that, but I reviewed a lot of contracts because unfortunately, a lot of them do end up involved in litigation at some point. And just having seen how litigation can play out around a lot of these contractual relationships, I think it's made me very conscious of everything that I sign, reading everything, and not feeling like I just have to like take things as they are given. I don't know if that part has come from spending a significant amount of time in Nigeria, where like haggle is life and nobody ever just pays the price that somebody gives them. But I'm very much more confident in negotiating and really critically analyzing things that people are giving me or proposing, as opposed to just accepting things. I think, and being a lawyer can make you a lot more comfortable doing that. And then being able to write contracts myself and to feel confident that I've thought about the, obvious things that need to be touched on with these contracts. And I have a good understanding when I do write things out myself, or when I receive something and I need to look it over. That is very important because contracts can make or break a business for sure. So I think that's been a really, really big help.
Hey, excellent. I appreciate you bringing up that example, because I'm one of the people, once I see more than like a handful of pages, sometimes in my normal life, this isn't good, I don't recommend this. But I just say, where do you want me to sign? A lot of times. And so
and the crazy thing is on the last page, or the second to last page. Yeah. That's where you put it.
Yeah, that's where they put all the information. I just had something popping in my head. So, like, we're all on our mobile devices. So I'm curious, are you one of the people that like, you know, when you get like the Apple terms or you download an app or something and they have you go through, like they make you read the terms. Are you reading all the lines of the terms when like you're downloading simple stuff like
No,
an app?
I usually don't for something like, downloading an app or something like that, unless it's some sort of like financial institution app or something like that. But I do like go and review the permissions that it requests in terms of sharing information. I don't like to share my location, so I get very particular about that.
Got it.
Um, so stuff like that. But usually, no, I'm not gonna just read every single uh, list of legal terms to like accept cookies on a website when I go visit it. I'm not that bad.
I wanted to see how deep you get into it. That was
No,
it.
I'm not that bad. But you will be surprised when someone presents you with something, particularly if you're like making a large purchase and it requires you to sign contracts and stuff like that, how like annoyed people would get when you're reading when you're actually reading it. They're like, yeah, it just says this. You can sign here. And I'm like, I'm a lawyer and you're a salesperson. I know what this contract says more than you do. So let me read it and I'll let you know when I'm done. Thanks.
You know, it's crazy. My experience is in the sales world, so not to say I'm in a position where I was that person you were interacting with, but yes, that's kind of the way the sales world works. And certain
Like,
companies,
what it says is that you agree to X, Y, and Z. I'm like, well, I'll know that when I read it. Thank you.
they'll hit you with that. I'll give you a copy of it too, but it's like to your point, you still want to read it first. So tip out there, folks, you heard it from Khadijah. Don't follow what I do. Make sure you're reading your contracts. Doesn't matter what you're signing, just make sure that you understand it going into it. So you mentioned something there around you being in Nigeria, I believe. And to dig a little bit on that, does the Nile List currently have products worldwide in other countries that, people can tap into as well?
Yes, so we do list brands that are international, and you can even use a filter on our website to find brands that ship internationally or that are based outside of the US. And, our goal is to make sure that people are connecting with dope Black brands from all around the world. And at having spent so much time in Nigeria, I've lived there for 9 months out of the last 12. I personally love the some of the brands that are coming out of Nigeria. The creativity is amazing. Entrepreneurship is amazing. And honestly, I think particularly when it comes to like fashion, you just find so much more variety, so some really great quality. You can find a wide range of things, brands that are more like a Zara, that'll give you sort of the standard ready wear stuff. You can find brands that are very upscale. You can find brands that are very simple and clean, and making all kinds of things, accessories, clothing, shoes, all sorts. So I have to really keep myself in check when I'm in Nigeria. Otherwise, I end up spending all my money. And I'd be like, but it's Black owned, which is always my excuse. My checkbook don't like that, though. My checking account is like, I don't care if it's Black owned or not. So to reel it in a little bit. But there's some amazing brands coming out of Ghana. And we have, another thing that we do as a business is we help conferences and events source vendors when they want to source Black owned brands as vendors for their events, and conferences and other gatherings. We help them source vendors. And so we, recently helped She Leads Africa source vendors for a conference they held in December. And we help them source brands from literally all over the world, from the UK, from Canada, from the US, Kenya, South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, all over. So we really are hoping to connect the diaspora as much as possible and really help people discover like things they really love that they will never come across other places.
All right, we got one question that just came in, Khadijah. What was your favorite thing to eat while you were in Africa?
Okay, so I love carbs and I have a terrible sweet tooth. It's like actually awful. It's why I'll never be skinny. And that's okay with me. I've made peace with that. But I love puff puff, which is eaten a lot in West Africa. It is like a fried dough ball. It's almost like a fried donuts, except just a ball of dough that's just slightly sweet. It's not super sweet. A lot of times people might dip it in like honey or something, but I love puff puff. It's on my list of things to do to actually learn how to cook it, although I probably shouldn't. So I don't have like very easy access to it, but I love it. That is always my favorite. That, and if anyone is Nigerian or has ever been to Nigeria, they know about Indomie, and I absolutely love Indomie, which is also very bad. It is essentially like Nigerian ramen, and it's just awful. Just high sodium, high everything that's not good for you, which is probably why it's delicious.
I like it. I like it. So you guys hear that? Puff puff. And what was the last one?
Indomie.
Indomie. So it doesn't sound like that's readily available for some of us, but you never know. There could be a Nigerian restaurant in your community. Quick Google
You
search.
can find Indomie in a lot of grocery stores now. I've started seeing it in the Safeway here in DC. I don't know if that's because there might be more international folks around, but I made it for a friend of mine one time, and she was like, "Wait a minute, why don't they sell this in America more often?"
Yeah, I agree. Valora chiming in with the yum. Yeah, the way you just explained it, who doesn't like? And every once in a while, it's okay to have it every once in a while, Khadijah. Right? We can splurge and go off of the diets.
You're right. I don't eat it like almost every day at all. Not ever. I would never do that.
So I'm going to believe you. Okay, I believe you. All right, we're all in this pandemic. We gotta have certain things. It's okay to cheat every once in a while, right? So international, we staying on the international focus. Valor wants to know who handles the international shipping for those businesses that you partner with. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? Because I think that's a really big opportunity for some of the businesses in the States when it comes to getting access to the international markets.
Listen, international shipping is one of the biggest issues, particularly when you were talking about Africa. The infrastructure, it's a mess, and shipping can be crazy. So right now, you can't purchase products directly from us outside of our subscription box. We essentially help you find businesses, and then you go and shop with them, and they handle their own shipping. I will say that most of the brands that do international shipping use DHL. When it comes to shipping, I would say pretty much anywhere outside of Europe, DHL is the safest bet. They are going to be the fastest, and they are going to be the most guaranteed to actually get there, because particularly when you're in a place like Nigeria, my mom tried to mail me a box through the post office, and after like 5 weeks, it just showed back up at her house, and they were like, we don't know. Post office like, I don't know what happened, but oh well, here's your money back.
Yeah.
And so DHL is really like the way to go when you're trying to ship. Particularly, I think, on the continent. Unfortunately, it's not the cheapest option. Yes. So a lot of times it does add a cost to the things that you want to buy. And that's something that I really look forward to thinking about how we can help solve more as we loop in more and more of these amazing brands that are all over the continent, because it's a huge issue. And I think it locks a lot of African brands out of a lot of markets that we really, really love to tap into them. And so it's something that I started talking to some Nigerian brands about. Like, what can we do? How can we troubleshoot this? And it's definitely not going to be an overnight thing, but it's something that I would love to be a part of the solution for in the future. So stay tuned.
Yeah, I
Give us
love that.
some years.
Yeah, I appreciate that answer. That's one of those long-term goals, right? Like you said, Khadijah, where you want to put the time and the energy in. I know our partners with Lure, they're in that logistics space as well. So that's an amazing opportunity though. But just they're still getting customers, like folks who are in, who want to be included, right? Who want to get access to those products. So that's the initial step, right? Just getting them interested, right? And then that shipping piece. Again, I know all the business owners that are going to be listening to this, they understand it. I've been to the post office to price mailing a hat internationally, like a hat like the one you see right here, Beyond Normal. And I was very surprised at the cost, which was a lot more than what the actual hat costs. So that is a problem that will not be solved today, but definitely looking forward to some collaborations and maybe some new businesses that come out that are looking to solve that problem moving forward. Big opportunity.
It is a huge opportunity. Huge, huge, huge.
All right, so we got somebody else who chimed in on the food front. I'm not sure if they're spelling it right. Is this how it's spelled, Khadijah? I'm assuming that's the right. So appreciate Dustin chiming in. Indomie, love it. You can find it at Asian markets by the box. Okay, so we're figuring out how we all can get access to some of this yummy food. Appreciate Dustin chiming in there. Never heard of it before this call, but I would definitely be going to a local market near me to figure out how I can get some of this this great food that Khadijah says I gotta have right now.
The trick is to put like your favorite stuff in there, because the Indomie is literally just like a packet of noodles. So I throw in like shrimp, I throw in some broccoli, I might throw some corn in there, maybe a little carrot, some onions. You get it. I mean, you put whatever you want in there. Sometimes I put mussels. I get real fancy with mine sometimes. Like you can put some lobster in there. Like if you're really trying to feel fancy, you can get as fancy as you want. The trick is definitely to dress it up, but I used to bring it back in my suitcase with me when I came back from Nigeria. That's how much I loved it. So I'm so happy to find it here now.
Yeah, that's dope. So on that front, I want to transition a little bit. You've done some international travel. It sounds like you spent most of the last year outside of the country. As you know, some of the conversations that have been going on here in the States around, just inequities, it started with George Floyd, and then we have just had a constant number of events that have come after that have kind of reinforced that we need some solutions. I'm curious to know, give folks a little bit like, what's your perspective? What hearing, other being in other parts of the world, what were those conversations like that they were having in those places? And now that you're back in the States, how have those conversations been for you so far now that you're back home?
Yeah. My perspective, I can't say everything that I think because I don't want to get your show banned on the internet.
Khadijah, the good thing about us being on the internet, we're not going to get banned, okay? So you can keep it real. I'm just throwing that out there, not to say you have to. No pressure, right? But, in terms of, I really just want to know how you feel. Just given the current events, we all know the names, the Dante Rice and the things that are coming up in the news. Very sensitive topic. So we definitely want some real, honest dialogue at this point. We need it.
Well, I'm pissed off. I'm angry and mad as hell, and I'm not feeling charitable anymore. I'm like, I'm tired of this whole turn the other cheek. When they go low, we go high. I'm like, when they go low, we stomp their ass into the ground. How about that? I'm tired of this shit. And that's pretty much where I've been lately in life, but especially this past week. And I mean, Dante Wright, that really wrenched my heart. But what really sent me over the edge this week was seeing the video of that red-faced, crazy-looking white man rolling up on this child, looking like I don't even know how old, walking down the street minding his own business, and this man assaulting him and talking to him any kind of way. I was so happy when I saw people outside his house, and when they were throwing stuff at his house, I was like, oh well. Like, I feel no type of way. Oh, they had to close the whole street because people was mobbing outside his house. Well, you know what? That's what happens. Like, I've like gone to my wits' end of feeling terrorized in this country. And I'm like, well, maybe it's time they feel a little terrorized too. So guess what? I don't care about nobody looting. I don't care about nobody burning down. I'm like, y'all stole it in the first place. How about that? I've gotten very radical in the last few years. I've always been always a little radical, but I've gotten very radical. And I feel like the last year has made me just be like, you know what? I'm tired. So I don't really mince words anymore. I don't really have much of the turn the other cheek spirit left in me. I am very about action and like, how can we take back what's ours and what's owed to us? Because they clearly don't want to give it. They don't even want us to be alive. So hopefully I don't lose you any followers, because I really am like, this is just the tame version. You've seen me on Twitter, so
yes, I have. Yes, I have.
My account got suspended once this week because I really was cursing people out on Twitter.
If you don't follow Khadijah on Twitter, I tell people to go out and really interact with people. But I appreciate you giving us, that perspective. Like you said, you're not gonna go all the way in, but just giving us a glimpse into how you're thinking. Valor, chimed in. Amen. Like we really gotta hear some of we gotta start allowing ourselves to state, how we feel in these current situations. And then so we're not gonna say the person's name and give them their 15 minutes of fame on our platform, right? But just to see how the community really, responded. We're gonna go good. We're gonna chill out. We're gonna really show them, a little bit. We're gonna be more active. We're gonna be in their face and let them know how we feel. Non-violent way. I'm all about that. But like you said, looting and stuff like that, it's not necessarily something that I condone. But at the same time, if people at this moment they're feeling some angst and they feel like they gotta go out and they gotta really destroy the community, it's really on the community. The community's got to do some reflection to understand why these people are having these feelings and feeling like they have to do these actions. In this moment, things like gun control. There's so many topics that are in the limelight right now. But I think the focus in all of it, right, is just like being fair, having some parity, making sure, if I walk down the street, I get the same treatment as somebody who doesn't look like me, right? Who walks down the street. Doesn't matter if they got on a suit, I got on a hoodie, a hat. We're both the same. We're both citizens. We're both productive members of society. You got to give us that benefit of the doubt. So your opinion, I appreciate you sharing that there. It's something I thought we were kind of, getting to that next phase, but 2021 has shown us that we definitely got some work to do.
No, these people are holding on but for dear life. It is like protect white supremacy at all costs right now. And I think what we are all seeing is that some of it is like it's inevitably getting pushed to the fringes just because of the way that the world is shifting, the way that the population in the US is shifted. And they don't like that, because for some of these people, the only thing they had going for them was being white, that they could always depend on being better than other people, having access to certain things because they're white and we ain't. So if they ain't got that, they ain't got nothing. So they got to fight like hell for that. And it's anything above it. They'll die. They'll kill themselves. They really would rather die. They'd be like, no, I would rather not have any health care. And I would rather die in bankruptcy and not have access to this medical treatment that I need. then let y'all Negroes have it. So it's literally, they are willing to die to protect this white supremacy, and I get it. It's their most valuable asset. But we still gonna fight. Mm-hmm. And I will say that being in Nigeria for most of the last year was a really interesting experience, because it really made me realize how unique the Black American community is. There's no other community like this on earth. And it is completely impossible to describe the entire context of growing up as a Black person in America to someone who hasn't experienced that. It's like, you know, trying to tell them about it, trying to talk to people, because people are like, you live there? Like, and when I said I was coming back to America, they're like, are you gonna be safe? Like, what? You know, like, are you scared? And I'm like, you know, sometimes it really feels like living behind enemy lines, literally. But we also have made one of the most incredible cultures on the planet, the most mimicked, imitated, and exported culture on the planet. Point blank, period. Like, that's it. That's all. So it is, you know, we've been able to generate such extreme, like, culture, music, literature, joy, film, just all. I mean, people talk like us, they walk like us, literally, they dress like us. Even in Nigeria, people are imitating what they see from Black American culture in a lot of spaces. And it's just crazy to see the impact that we've had, the excuse my French, the shit that we've had to deal with, and still be able to have that impact. And, you know, folks are still trying to destroy us, and they just not gonna do it. I wish they would realize it and just give up. It's like, I went to Vietnam to visit my friend some years ago, and I was taking a tour of some different sites during the Vietnam War, tunnels that people built, and they were living under these tunnels and attacking the American armies for like multiple years. And I was like, we should have known as America that we weren't gonna win this war. These people were not gonna let us beat them. Not in like, they were willing to do whatever it took, and you really just couldn't keep them down. And that's how I feel about Black folks. Like, y'all don't know by now you can't beat us. Y'all done tried everything, and yeah, we got a lot of problems, but we still here. Just let us be.
Yeah, that's it. It's such an interesting time, like, for us to be alive right now and just see all this like playing out, like, and it's interesting, to your point, like you mentioned, you know, what the viewpoint of the US is to other countries. It's so interesting to hear that perspective from people who aren't from here, right? Because if we just go off of the media, right, we see the glamorized version of what we are, which is, it's okay to see, you know, some of the highlights and all the billionaires and the things that we create. But when you go to certain parts of the country and you get different experiences, it really shows you that we're not just, it's not truly one. It doesn't feel always like it's one nation, like you just said. It's like you're behind enemy lines. Like that's a powerful thing to say, and I think it goes. I don't want it to go unsaid anymore. I feel like, you know, us having dialogue like this, you going in on Twitter. You know, I use LinkedIn as my platform to say certain things. Like, we got to really start letting people know, you know, this is how we feel, because like, we add value to society. Like you said, like, people want to dress like us. People want to do the things that we do when it comes to, you know, countless fields. Like, we add a lot of value. So
it's real. And I think what really is aggravating me right now is that people try to talk like, you know, I listen to so many media reports, and they're like, America's more divided than ever. And I'm like, wait a minute. Y'all just weren't listening to the people on the other side. You think the slaves were agreeing with everything that the white people was talking about to 170 years ago? 120? Like, no. We've been divided.
Yep.
It was a lots of clear division. Y'all just was killing people rather than let them have any voice.
Yeah, and now we got the voice, like you said.
Voice, it feels like there is a lot of division, but no, you're just hearing voices that you wanted to silence for so long.
I love that. So Wes chiming in, loving the social commentary. Talk that talk, Khadijah. I'm glad that you opened up and let us know how it really is. Again, how we want to that's how we want to leverage our platform. You see behind me, live, laugh, love. Like part of that love, that self-care that we're doing right now is really letting the world know how we feel. So I appreciate that. Back to business, right? So we came up with this concept. Brooke, at the beginning of the season, she had this term, phrase that I coined it for her, but she stated it, and I was like, we got to run with this in terms of world domination. So what does world domination look like for the Nile List in 2021, and maybe even moving forward if you got some of those goals laid out? What is that world domination for you?
I mean, just bridging from the social commentary, I am so happy that I'm able to be working on something every day and putting my time and energy into something that I really believe in, and that makes me feel like I am doing a little bit of something that can improve the situation that we face every day when we go outside these doors in America as Black folks. And for me, I feel like Black culture has already dominated the world. People are trying to do their hair like us. They're trying to dress like us. They're trying to eat our food. They're trying to talk like us. People who can't even speak English are on the internet talking about period with a T. And I'm like, where did y'all get this from? And I think world domination means that Black people receive the benefits of that exploitation of our culture, and a lot of times, I won't say it's all exploitation. People are really enjoying the gifts that we have to give to the world, and that's great, but they also need to be uplifting the people that are giving them those gifts, and I hope that we are an instrument for that. I don't think that like Black capitalism is going to save all of us, and making some Black folks rich means that everything is great, because we have Black billionaires, and the last time I checked, Oprah's pocketbook didn't stop Negroes from getting killed in the streets by police and whoever else. But I do think that empowering Black entrepreneurs, not even necessarily just to become billionaires, but just to be able to build up something for themselves and a legacy for their next generation, and to make products that are for us, that have us in mind, products that are not going to kill us, which, people who don't care about us make products that are going to kill us all the time. And a lot of us, when we make products and we sell products to people, we're really thoughtful about what we're putting out there, and just being able to enable more of that, and getting the world to buy into that as much as they buy into other aspects of our culture, for me, is the pinnacle of success.
I love it. I'm not even gonna add anything. That was a mic drop moment there, Khadijah. So tell folks, as a part of that world domination, how can folks engage with the brand? Find out what's going on with the boxes, the Tastemaker Tribe boxes. Like how can folks interact with the Nile List and get the products that they need from Black-owned businesses?
Sure, you can go to thenilelist.com. Very easy to navigate our site, search for brands. We have a blog. You can check out our blog. You can follow us on all the social medias at the Nile List. We are on everything. We even got a LinkedIn, so you will find us there. And if you want to check out a box, which I definitely recommend as a great way to just try different things, and we don't want to bombard folks with stuff, so we didn't make it a monthly box, because I know how that can be. When you get too much stuff and you can't even get through it all, then you got another box and you're like, they still sending me stuff. So we made a quarterly box to make it very manageable and really be thoughtful in the way that we curate it, so we can deliver folks with really, really, really great quality products from great brands. I think that's a great way, a really easy way to discover new brands and check folks out, and to start connecting with a lot of dope Black entrepreneurs from all over the place. So you can find all the information on our site, thenilelist.com. If you want to specifically buy a subscription box, you can do that at thenilelist.shop. And we are working on a marketplace So that should be up and running soon, and you'll be able to
Mm.
shop with dozens of brands from our site all in one place, making it even easier to buy Black online. That's the goal.
I love it, and I like the box. I'm stuck on the Tastemaker box. I can't wait to get mine. Birthdays for me, I thought birthdays were kind of on pause since the pandemic, but the people in my family have let me know that is not the case, and they're still expecting things. Thursdays, hint, hint to everybody, but yes. The celebrations are still on, so people are still expecting presents. So that's what I'm looking forward to, getting that box. Like you mentioned earlier, gifting certain things out to the folks in my family, giving them a taste of a Black-owned brand that they may want to engage.
Well, I will say you are not the only one. We had some orders come in today for people who are already starting to buy things for Mother's Day. And they, gave us their notes that they wanted to include to the beautiful women in their lives who they're honoring as mothers. And so looking forward to sending out some great stuff to big up folks for Mother's Day and whatever other special occasions. Because like being able to send someone a box of joy, dope stuff, let them know you're thinking about them, and also support Black-owned brands, like no brainer.
I love it. And so in closing, I want to pass it to you one more time. If there's anything that we missed, anything you want to leave the folks with in terms of, closing out the show. But I just want to say I thank you for coming on for this episode, the last episode of the second season. We were supposed to have Khadijah on as the last episode for the first season, but this worked out perfect. Just, giving people that opportunity. They still way to reach out to minority-owned businesses, Black-owned businesses. That's big for us. But just want to pass it to you if there's anything you want to leave folks with.
I don't have anything to add. Take care of yourselves after this crazy week, and buy Black.
I love it. That's another mic drop moment there. So, again, I want to thank you for coming on the final episode of the second season. Shout out to our partners, Velour. They've been in the comments this episode, but the entire season they worked with us to curate this specific list of entrepreneurs. Khadijah was on that list. Brooke said, no, we got to have her for the season where we're partnering. We got to have her right now in this moment that we're in right now. So appreciate our partners over at Velour. And again, all the folks who have interacted with the brand, it's been amazing year. Amazing season, just building this out. Having these conversations with folks like Khadijah who are, making changes, right? Like making products, making services that are geared towards us, making sure that we're represented in the way that we need to be represented. Like this, can't wait to see. But in closing, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Beyond Normal podcast. Appreciate everybody. All right, now. Thanks for tuning in to the Beyond Normal podcast. We can be streamed across all major streaming platforms in addition to YouTube. Come back again.